A very good afternoon to you. This is TV Sapientia on Star Times Channel 260. Today is Thursday, the 23rd of October 2025. My name is Joe Igbo. In our news headlines this afternoon, the federal government has commiserated with the people of Niger State over the tragic petrol tanker explosion that occurred in Asaba local government area of the state on Tuesday, killing not less than 40 persons. The federal government has cautioned vendors across the country against selling force-ripened fruits, warning that anyone caught engaging in the practice will face stiff penalties. The Academic Staff Union of Universities ASUU has suspended the 2-week warning strike it began on October 13, 2025. And the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFUND, has announced the official application procedure for students seeking to benefit from its 2025-2026 academic session loan scheme. Now the details of the news. The federal government has commiserated with the people of Niger State over the tragic petrol tanker explosion that occurred in Asaba local government area of the state on Tuesday. In a statement signed by the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, the federal government said the incident, which left over 40 persons dead, had once again brought to the fore the devastating human and material consequences of fuel tanker accidents in communities. The government lamented that despite sustained public sensitization and repeated warnings about the dangers of scooping fuel from falling tankers, some citizens still take such life-threatening risks. The federal government directed the National Orientation Agency, NOAA, to sustain and intensify nationwide public awareness campaigns on safety measures, particularly in rural and high-risk communities, to prevent the reoccurrence of such tragedies. The incident, which occurred on Tuesday, led to the death of scores of residents after a petrol-laden tanker fell on the Bida-Badegi-Agai road in Esan community. Many of the victims were among those attempting to collect fuel from the tanker before it burst into flames. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has appealed to the media to join forces with it in combating fake news and misinformation ahead of the November 8, 2025 governorship election in Anambra State. The National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Sam Olumekun, made the appeal in Oka during a forum for media executives, reporters, producers, and on-air personalities, represented by Wilfred Ifoha, Deputy Director of Information and Publicity. The National Commissioner described the engagement as a reaffirmation of INEC's commitment to openness and collaboration with the media. He charged the media to lead the fight against fake news and misinformation, which he described as major threats to electoral integrity. Olumekun described the media as an indispensable partner in promoting transparency and credibility in the electoral process. He noted that INEC is ready and fully committed to conducting a free, fair, and credible election in Anambra State. Olumekun also announced that INEC would start distribution of permanent voter cards or PVCs to those who registered recently between Wednesday, October 22nd and Sunday, October 26, 2025 at the ward level, adding that there will be no collection by proxy. The Delta State Police Command has arrested and detained a police officer who was captured on video shooting at the tire of a moving vehicle in front of Toscana Hotel along Anambra Road, Asaba. The viral video showed the officer firing towards a car as the driver attempted to drive away, sparking widespread outrage on social media. Many residents and commentators described the act as reckless and a clear violation of police rules on firearms use in public spaces. Reacting to the incident, the command spokesperson, Superintendent of Police Bright Edafe, condemned the officer's behavior, calling it embarrassing, shameful, careless, unprofessional, and unjustified. Edafe said the policeman has been identified, detained, and queried. He emphasized that no policeman is permitted to use a firearm without clear justification, as stated in Force Order 237. In another development, the Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, Maila Dantawaye, has ordered the immediate redeployment of the divisional police officer in charge of Oshafa Division after a viral video showed him slapping a young man during an arrest. The incident, captured on camera and widely circulated on X, formerly Twitter, triggered outrage among Nigerians who described the officer's conduct as unprofessional and abusive. In a statement yesterday, the Police Public Relations Officer for the FCT Command, SP Josephine Ade, said the commissioner condemned the officer's behavior, describing it as unacceptable and contrary to the ethics of the Nigeria Police Force. Ade confirmed that the officer had been redeployed to the command headquarters pending the outcome of an ongoing investigation. Dantawaye warned all divisional police officers and subordinates in the FCT to maintain professionalism and civility while discharging their duties, warning that any act of misconduct or abuse of power would attract severe sanctions. The commissioner further urged residents to maintain mutual respect and cooperation with the police, promoting community safety and effective policing in the nation's capital. The federal government has cautioned vendors across the country against selling force-ripened fruits, warning that anyone caught engaging in the practice will face stiff penalties. The Executive Vice Chairman of the Federal Competitive and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, Mr. Olatunji Bello, gave the warning yesterday during a one-day sensitization program held in Gombe State. The event focused on the dangers of force-ripened fruits, adulterated palm oil, and contaminated meat and grains. Bello, who was represented by the Director of Quality Assurance and Development, Dr. Nkechi Mba, said force-ripened fruits pose serious health risks to consumers. He stated that the Commission would ensure strict enforcement of food safety in collaboration with the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, and other relevant regulatory bodies. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has suspended the two-week warning strike it began on October 13, 2025. The strike, which was set to expire next Monday, was suspended following renewed commitments from the federal government and the National Assembly to address the union's demands. ASUU President Professor Chris Piwuna made the announcement at a press conference in Abuja yesterday, citing recent interventions and engagements with the Yele Ahmed-led committee and the Deputy Senate President as the reasons for suspending the action before its scheduled end. However, the lecturers urged the government to take advantage of the one-month suspension window to meet their demands, which include the review of the 2009 ASUU FG agreement, payment of outstanding salaries and earned allowances, and disbursement of the University Revitalization Fund, among others. ASUU also warned that the union would resume the industrial action without prior notice if concrete steps are not taken within the next 1 month. The Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo has announced plans to recruit an additional 3,000 teachers to strengthen teaching capacity and improve learning outcomes across public schools in the state. The governor had barely 2 weeks ago formalized the employment of over 5,000 former casual teachers who he personally presented their employment letters to. He announced the employment of additional 3,000 teachers when the leadership of the state chapter of the Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT, conferred a Lifetime Achievement Award on him in recognition of his exceptional reforms and commitment to repositioning the state's education sector. Governor Okpebholo expressed deep appreciation to Edo State teachers for their diligence and patriotism in shaping the future of the state. He emphasized that his administration had put an end to the era of overcrowded classrooms and combined classes that once defined Edo's public schools, noting that the new education reforms had already restored public confidence in the system. The Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service has advised residents to be safety conscious following the fire incident that took place at the Alaba International Market. A section of the popular market in Lagos was on Tuesday evening engulfed by fire that destroyed several shops and property worth millions of naira. The Alaba International Market, situated along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, is regarded as one of the largest commercial hubs in West Africa, bustling with traders dealing in electronics, furniture, and building materials. The director of the Lagos State Fire Service, Margaret Adeyeye, gave an update on the incident in a statement signed by the Senior Public Affairs Officer, Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service, Maria Fadairo. Fadairo said the service received a distress call at 7:18 p.m. reporting the fire outbreak at 155 Olojo Drive, opposite Tantalizers, Alaba International Market, Ojo Local Government Area, Lagos State. Preliminary investigations revealed that the fire originated from the topmost floor of the building shortly after electricity was restored due to negligence on the part of some shop owners. Opposition parties in Anambra State have faulted the community-based donations being made to the re-election campaign of the state governor and candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, describing the gesture as a violation of the Electoral Act 2022. The All Progressives Congress, APC, the Labour Party, LP, and the African Action Congress, AAC, accused the ruling party of promoting what they called a culture of coercive and anonymous giving under the guise of communal support for Soludo's re-election bid. Over the past few weeks, Soludo has received donations from several communities across the state ahead of the November 8, 2025 governorship election. At a campaign rally in Onitsha South local government area on Tuesday, the governor's campaign team received a check of 20 million naira from community leaders, described as a token of appreciation for his development strides. Similar donations have been presented by groups in Agwata, Newi, Oka, and Ihiala, among others. But the opposition parties insist the practice runs contrary to both the letter and spirit of the Electoral Act, which places strict limits on campaign donations and prohibits anonymous contributions. The publicity secretary of the APC in Anambra State, Okelo Madukaife, alleged that the so-called community donations were being coordinated and financed by local government officials loyal to APGA. Madukaife said these are state funds being laundered in broad daylight through political loyalists. He said it does not make sense that communities that cannot even fix their boreholes or schools are suddenly donating 20 million naira to a campaign. Madukaife urged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) and the graft agencies to scrutinize the sources of the donations. The Labour Party's spokesperson, Johnson Okoye, similarly described the donations as a form of disguised vote buying. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFUND, has announced the official application procedure for students seeking to benefit from its 2025-2026 academic session loan scheme. NELFUND's Director of Strategic Communications, Osheyemi Oluwatoyin, said the application period will run from October 23, 2025 to January 31, 2026. NELFUND stated that institutions that are yet to begin their 2025-2026 academic session should formally write to NELFUND with their approved academic calendar for scheduling flexibility. Fresh students are expected to apply using the admission number or JAMB registration number in place of a matriculation number. Applicants are requested to visit the official NELFUND website, access the portal at NELF, that's nelf.gov.ng. Click on the Apply Now button and follow the prompts. To end the Sapientia TV news at 1 p.m., a recap of the major headlines. The federal government has commiserated with the people of Niger State over the tragic petrol tanker explosion that occurred in Esa, Kacha local government area of the state on Tuesday, killing not less than 40 persons. The federal government has cautioned vendors across the country against selling force-ripened fruits, warning that anyone caught engaging in the practice will face stiff penalties. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has suspended the 2-week warning strike it began on October 13, 2025. And finally, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFUND, has announced the official application procedure for students seeking to benefit from its 2025-2026 academic session loan scheme. That was the Sapientia TV news at 1 p.m. On behalf of the editorial and technical crew, I am Joe Igbo. Good afternoon and thanks for choosing TV Sapientia.